What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and welcome to another episode of the People's Questions. I would just first off like to congratulate, once again, Digital Man 123 for getting the question correctly, making him now officially a two-time winner again. And the answer to last week's question was, well, actually the question was, how did the first Metal Gear get destroyed? And the first Metal Gear that got destroyed was in Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, and it was destroyed when Big Boss and his recruits shot at the missile silo and allowed it to burn up in the atmosphere upon takeoff. So great job, Digital Man. One more and you will automatically be set for the Ultimate contest. And not only that, I will answer your question first. Digital Man 123 wants to know, what do I want in PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale? In terms of what do I want, well, there's really nothing, from what I've seen, there's really nothing I want that's probably not really there. It's clear that it's simply Super Smash Brothers, but with a bunch of PlayStation characters thrown in. And if it plays exactly the same, then, you know, it'll have everything I want in it. If I really had to pick any real gripes, then I guess, I would just personally say, aside, it's like they should do something like this with like all game characters, but that'll never happen. So as for your question, there's nothing I really would want in PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale, because from what I've seen, everything's already in it. So yeah. Next question comes from Warrior Chemicase, and he would like to know, what do I think about Final Fantasy Versus being turned into Final Fantasy 14 rumors? I think that is a stupid ass decision. I don't know what the hell is taking Square so long to get that game out, since it's been in production longer than I believe any Final Fantasy game ever has. What are we on, like what, 5, almost, like it feels like 3, 4 years now? I don't think any Final Fantasy game has taken that long, especially since they've been able to spit out Final Fantasy 13 and a sequel, and from what I've heard from other rumors, they're thinking of putting in a third one, which makes absolutely no sense. It just is an example of just how stupid Square is getting. They don't listen to us. Heck, they probably won't. Most likely, they'll cancel Final Fantasy Versus, and heck, if I have anything to say about it, they'll probably cancel Kingdom Hearts 3. So Square is officially in the dumps. But it's not going to ruin my memories of Final Fantasies 1 through 10. So, yeah, if the rumors are true and it's going to be Final Fantasy 14, then I guess I'll be a little bit pissed, but it better stay an exclusive. If it's not, I'm going to be really pissed. I have three from one of my favorite YouTuber subscribers, and his name is Gizmore Really great name, by the way. And he's got 3 really good questions, and the first one is kind of long, so I probably won't bother trying to put it right here. And your question is, do I think The Dark Knight Rises will have a cliffhanger ending? And if so, what are my predictions? Gizmore, I do not think it's going to have a cliffhanger ending. I think it's going to have a solid ending, and it's going to end this particular Christopher Nolan trilogy franchise. I've heard rumors, however, that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character is going to take over for Batman, and then that Batman is going to be part of the Justice League movie. I seriously doubt that. I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character is, in the comic books, technically a temporary replacement for Bruce's Batman in the comics, but I seriously doubt they're going to throw him to play with Superman and Diana, because if anything, the best thing we can hope for is to have great conversations between Bruce and Clark and Diana, because those 3 really have the best chemistry out of the whole team. I mean, if you really could just dissect the team, it would be those 3, and you have Green Lantern and Hawk Girl, and I guess you have Jean and Wally, I guess. So, no, I do not think it'll have a cliffhanger ending. It's going to be a solid ending. We're going to have a reboot, hopefully 3 years from now, and then they can start kickstarting the Justice League movie. Your next question is, what's one game and movie that I cherish most? Now, for those of you who know me, in terms of games, it's it's always going to be between Metal Gear Solids 3 and 4. I can't really decide which one is better because both of them change up how the gameplay works. Like, for example, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater has the medic system. So if you get injured, you have to help yourself, and it actually affects your stamina. And on top of that, you have to feed yourself. So you have to find food, you have to kill animals. So there's definitely, and your camouflage actually has to change with your environment. So there's much more of a stealth element. However, in Metal Gear Solid 4, they have something similar to that, but your suit can actually automatically cloak 100% to whatever surface you're on, but there's also the sight gauge. So it actually considers with Snake's psychological, healthness. So if you do nothing but killing throughout the whole game, it'll actually affect him, and it'll start burning through stamina, and your aim will start to be affected. So in terms of story, seeing how Metal Gear Solid 3 is really the beginning of the story, and Metal Gear Solid 4 is the end of the story, or at least until Metal Gear Rising comes out, those are really the two strongest elements. I mean, the meat of the Metal Gear Solid series, from Portable Ops to Metal Gear Solid 2, is strong, but it's just not as strong as the beginning and the end. So that's the most cherished game. And in terms of movies, I'm sure many of you would expect me to say something like The Dark Knight. And although The Dark Knight really did change my entire perspective on movies in general, and kind of made me see that, they could be amazing works of art, I would have to say, in terms of cherish, I would say Terminator 2, because that ending is kind of one of those endings. At least for many of us, I guess. We could say it's one of those movies that it's okay for a man to cry to. It's not cool. I don't think it's really cool for guys to cry at any movie, but there are those very few movies that hit us right here, and those are the ones I think you should cherish most, not the ones that make you want to feel like a badass or just amazing. But that's my opinion. And your last question is, what 90s cartoon left a lasting impression on me? In terms of cartoons, it would be something. It's hard to pick just one. There's a mixture of three, which would be Dragon Ball Z on Toonami, DuckTales on Disney, or Rocko's Modern Life on the Nickelodeon channel. It'd have to be one of those three. But something that I cherish even more than cartoons was my all-time favorite show throughout the 90s, which was Power Rangers. I think it's a fact that anyone who's about my age, if you grew up during the 90s, you watch Power Rangers. And probably Pokemon too, but I don't know, Pokemon. I was more into Yu-Gi-Oh! I wasn't a Pokemon at that time. Or at least when both of them came out. So, yeah, overall I would say Power Rangers, even though that's not a cartoon, that would be like my most cherished show. I continued watching that show from elementary school all the way till I graduated high school, and then I stopped when I went to college. But yeah, in terms of cartoon, I can't really pick just one, because those are the three main channels I was always watching. So yeah, so DuckTales, Dragon Ball Z, and Rocko's Modern Life. And now on to the last and best question I have gotten so far. Real interesting one by, once again, Timmy Primetime. And he wants to know simply, what inspired 3CR? If you've seen my intros, it says inspired by my brothers, and what that means is there's not enough time on this show for me to explain all the great things I love about those guys. I mean, they have just the most interesting personalities. I've always been able to talk to them about anything. We've had just so many great memories together. It's just, especially my younger brother named, he doesn't want me to say his name, so he says A. If there's anyone, the best thing I could say about him is he is unquestionably the greatest man I have ever had the honor of seeing to grow up, and probably the greatest man I will ever know throughout my entire life. And in terms of my other little brother Jay, I don't know where he gets his personality, but he didn't get it from me, and I want to be more like them. I want to be more open, lot more of, they don't want me to say ladies man, but they're much better with girls than I ever was throughout my life. And I just kind of want their aura, their just sense of confidence, and that's something I'm still working on myself. And another thing that inspired 3TR, or at least this particular show, is a certain gamer girl by the name of Rachel Moore. She actually has a Q&A question show like I do, but it's called Ask Rachel, and I've seen every single episode, and that was really the main inspiration for the people's questions as you see now, because she had a Q&A question. I was like, you know, if she can do it, I can do it too. So you can thank her for inspiring this. And with that, I'm going to end the questions there. And now it's time to get on to this week's question. Hopefully someone will beat Digital Man 123 and prevent him from getting a three-time winner. So here's the question. Quite simply, this Friday's contest question is a lot simpler than usual, but a little bit more challenging. And all I want any of you out there to do is simply guess which was the most expensive collector's item I've purchased. They're all here in the case, and although you cannot see them all from this angle, I've actually listed all of them in the descriptions down below. And I've also left a link to the 2 videos which I do go over all my collector's items in detail. If you think you have the right answer, please comment them down below in the comments, or send them to my personal PlayStation Network ID, which I've listed probably right here, right about now. I'll give all of you 2 guesses, and simply when you get it right, you'll have your choice of getting a $20 PlayStation Network card or a $20 Xbox Points card. If you like this video, please like, comment down below, and subscribe at the top to keep track of me and my videos. And please, guys, keep your questions coming. They're getting better and better. And keep your topics coming. I am getting them out as fast as I can without just burning myself out. And like always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.